Well, morning, boys and girls. The day did not start very well for me today. I was sitting in Flying J. Okay, what did I put in here? 104.66. 104.66. 104.66. Hold on, before I forget. 104.66. So I was at the Flying J on the other side of the interstate, right? And because it's pretty big, so I was able to park there. That's where I was yesterday. And then in the morning I'm thinking how I'm gonna get, I needed to get fuel, but I didn't want to disconnect, and I thought there was a lot of room in there, like on the exit. At the exit there was lots of room, and I thought, okay, I'm gonna get fuel on the way back. What is this today? I think 5, 4, 5. Seven. Time flies when you're having fun. Okay, date, location. Rather Glen, I think one VA 102. What was it? 66. Doesn't matter. All right, I just need to keep track of my fuel. And so when I try to leave, everything is fine. I check the truck, check the chains, right? And there's a bunch of trucks parked there at the exit, away from the pump, you know, and I need a lot of room to make that turn. And so I couldn't do it. I was not sure I could do it, you know, from like this position, and the pumps are here. I needed this space, and there's trucks in there. I was afraid of that, and I didn't want to go. Of course I could have gone through in the opposite direction, but that makes people angry, you know, and then people line up in front of you, and then they say, what? Basically now you have to back out because they won't back out since you went you went in the wrong direction. And so I stopped when I made the turn on that road that leads to 95. I stopped there because I know there's a bunch of truck stops on the other side, but I didn't know how big they were. So I stopped on the side of the road there, just outside of the Flying J, because I cannot U-turn on the road. Again, I need a lot of space. And I checked my tracker path, and they're all small. Like this one, this had the best price, because actually tracker path shows you the price, and this one had the best price, $5.15 a gallon. And I thought I would love to get to this one, but it shows like 40 spots or something. It's like, it's tiny compared to the Flying J where I was sitting. It's not much of a truck stop. Man, this is... I don't want to hit, there's a broom in there, you know, like to clean your windshield, and it sticks out. Forget the pumps, I don't want to hit the broom, but I think I'm okay. And so I go to the other side, and it's all very confusing there. Basically there's a ramp where you can turn the truck stops. There was Love's on the right. I did not like that one. I don't like Love's diesel. I always get issues after, you know, like plugs my fuel filters. And I wanted to go to this Mr. Fuel or to the Flying J, the much bigger Flying J across the street here, but at the Flying J it's like 543, whereas the one where I was sitting, it was 535, and I thought, okay, at least I'll get 535.
Turn left onto Virginia 652.
But this 543, I don't want to pay that, right? And so, you know, I'm not from here, right? I don't know how you get to these truck stops in there, because it says no left turn. And so I go to the back of the next intersection, and I see there's 2 lanes turning left, and looks like you're supposed to do a U-turn to get back to the truck stops. And I'm thinking, man, how I'm gonna do that? And so you see, I have to use the scale. But what do? You do what you gotta do, son. And basically I try to make a U-turn. Of course the trailer folds, and I see there was like
Next left onto Virginia 652. Then turn right onto Virginia
there was a
207 west.
very sharp curb in the middle, and I see it's all broken because that's where people try to, you know, basically my trailer started turning at 180 degrees with this heavy load, and I saw that all the trailer wheels were going into that super sharp curb in the middle, and basically I could not make it. The turn was too sharp, even though I went like this, you know. In order to turn, you know, I went really wide, and still it was not enough. And you would not believe it, but as soon as I got stuck there, 2 seconds later, I see flashing lights. Like,
Southeast on Virginia 652 toward Virginia 207 west.
you know, like, what's going on? Where did this cop came from? And then I asked this lady over here, and she says, oh yeah, they're sitting there, they're waiting for you guys.
Turn right onto Virginia 207 west, then use the right lane to take the I-95 north ramp.
And turns out there was a sign that I missed. It said no U-turn. because you know, I see another sign that says no through trucks. Like, even after over here, I was over there, right? So that's where I spent the night. So I come here and it says no through trucks. So you have to go either into one of these truck stops, you're okay, right? But you cannot go past that next intersection. That's where I got stuck. And then this cop comes over to me and he says, did you see the sign, no U-turn? I said, sir, I said, you know, I'm trying to get some fuel. And he says, well, you go left here. You don't have to do a U-turn. You go left, there's a loop going around. I'm like, what? And I see, I was looking at this, but trucks are not allowed in this lane. And I was trying to get to this, to the Flying J, but you know, it's very confusing if you're not from around here. And the guy says, yeah, you don't need to do a U-turn. We made this loop for the trucks. I'm like, man, if I knew that, why would I do a U-turn, right? I said, I'm sorry, sir, but like, honestly, why would I make my life harder, right?
400 meters, merge onto I-95 north.
And he says, okay, can you make it forward? I look at my trailer at 90 degrees. I said, probably not. He says, can you back? I said, yeah, I'll back. And so I ran back, and I dropped the air on the booster and didn't bother dropping the arms. There's no time. But you know, since there's no air there, even if it drags a bit sideways, it's fine. Because there was a slippery pavement and no weight on the booster. And so I did like this, you know, seesaw a few times, and finally I have a Jeep, right? The Jeep is like this. Man. And I'm thinking, what a crazy morning, you know? And so finally, I do this, and then, you know, bring the truck a little bit to the right, and finally I'm able to go into that left turn. And of course I stop because I need to reinflate my booster. And I see that cop, he left the intersection, and now he's behind me with flashing lights. Like, when you have a cop behind you with flashing lights, probably it's not because he forgot to turn them off, right? So I get out of the truck, and I go back, and he comes out and he says, let me see your license and registration, sir. I'm like, son of a gun. Like he was very friendly.
It's getting worse. You are still on the fastest line. You will now arrive at 1:58 p.m.
And he blocked the traffic, right? That's what he took his car and he parked it across the southbound lanes over there. And of course, I mean, that road is just nuts. Like in 10 seconds there were like 100 vehicles on both sides. Everybody's looking at me. So I'll probably be on the news today in Virginia. So anyway, the cop says license and registration, takes my driver's license and my cab card back to his vehicle. I think it was a Ford Explorer, so I wasn't expecting much in terms of forgiveness. You know, if he drove a Charger, I would be more optimistic, but Ford Explorer, or I mean, it's maybe it might have been a Ford Expedition. You know, I'm not a big expert on Ford vehicles. Anyway, he comes back 10 minutes later, gives me back my registration and license, and says, "So you don't do this trip much, Sergei?" And I said, "Not really." I said, "I'm from Ontario. I was just trying to get fuel." I said, "I'm sorry." So no ticket. No ticket. The guy shook my hand. He says, "Be careful, drive safe." "Yes, sir. Thank you very much." So basically the day started very badly, but then it turned into a better day because I went on that loop and the guy told me, he says, look for, he says, the Flying J, the much bigger one, will be on your right. And he says, Mr. Fuel is across the street. And so I stopped there deciding, do I want to go into the Flying J, which I saw had a ton of space. I would definitely I could definitely make it through the pumps, but it was $5.43 a gallon. And then I looked to my left, Mr. Fuel, $5.15, or was it $5.19? But you know, the cheapest I've seen so far. And I look carefully at the layout over there. I see there's nobody parked in the middle. Everybody, all the trucks are parked near the wall. And I see this big scale. So I knew that I could make that turn, not before the scale, but I would have to go through the scale. And I thought, okay, I'll take my chances. And so I turned left in there. And that's where you saw me start the video. Oh, but I go inside, I have to prepay. They don't just take your credit card, so I prepay. Very nice, pretty lady. You can probably meet late 30s, early 40s. But she says, no, you have to prepay. So I prepay $575 US, because they also have DEF. And I go pump fuel in both tanks, and then I get DEF, and I come back and I grab a small coffee, because I had a large coffee from the Flying J, but by the time all this was done, I was pretty much finished. So I grab a small coffee and I go to the register and I said, can I get my receipt, please, pump 19? And she gives me a receipt, and I get out my credit card to pay for the coffee, and she says, you're fine. I said, thank you. So you see, so that's how you have to look at life, like this. Like what we say in Russia, it was a long time ago, it was a funny song. Вроде зебры, жизнь вроде зебры. It means that life is like a zebra, like a zebra's stripes. A black stripe is followed by the white stripe, right? And so here I got stuck in the intersection. The cop was about to give me a ticket, then he changed his mind, didn't give me a ticket, shook my hand. I got the diesel at the cheapest price I've seen so far, and I got free coffee. So now what I'm doing now is I'm heading north on I-95 towards Washington, D.C. and see if I can get a seat at the Parliament. No, Senate, what it's called. Yeah, it's not Parliament. No, I'm kidding. I don't have time for that. I have to be at 95 and 495 at exactly 9 o'clock. because 20 miles after that on 495 there's a border with Maryland. There's a river, Potomac River, and that's where the border is between Virginia and Maryland. And so yesterday I got my permits for Maryland and PA, and I managed to book a police escort and civilian escort. And so they're both waiting for me at 9:30 at Potomac River. And so time now is 8. I don't know the distance to that because what I programmed as my destination is the truck stop in Lawrenceville, PA. Because once we get out of Maryland, we let the police guy go, but the civilian pilot stays with me because I need him in PA. But he says he cannot take me through New York tomorrow because he has some other plans, and so he just takes me through Maryland together with the cop, and then the cop leaves and he takes me through PA. And that's what I programmed, that last truck stop in PA. So it's today I only have to do 533 clicks, or roughly 300 miles. So basically there's not gonna be too many stops, but at least I have some snacks in here, some pistachios. I got coffee, I got water. So today is gonna be a run against time. But I think it gets dark at what, like maybe 7? So we're gonna, now it's only 8. So we're gonna make it. We're gonna make it, but yeah, I see that the traffic is getting bad before Washington. Oh man. 9 minutes plus 9 minutes plus 2 minutes. It's all red right before 495. And I think it's about 60 miles from here to 495, but I mentioned this yesterday, there's a curfew on 495 from 7 to 9 for oversized loads, so I cannot be there before 9 anyway, so I think we should be okay. Just I don't think I'll make it in 1 hour. But you know, cops are usually late. You always wait for police escort, so they know my phone numbers, you know, if I get stuck. So what do you do? I know the civilian guy will wait for sure if I'm late, because that's money for him, probably $1.50 a mile at least. So it's 300 miles. They'll probably charge me $450, $500 US. So that's what's going on.